Hi, welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the Book That He's Read This Week. So what's the old guy read this week? Well, the book I've read this week is this one. It's called Karla's Choice by author Nick Harkaway. Was published by Viking as a hardback here in the UK on the 24th of October 2024. And eagle-eyed viewers will no doubt notice on the front of the book it says a John Le Carré novel. How so, I hear you say. John Le Carré passed away in December 2020. His last book, Silverview, was published posthumously and indeed was one of the first books I reviewed on the channel. But this book is written by Nick Harkaway, who just happens to be John Le Carré's son, David Cornwell's son. And so it's a reimagining, if you will, of Le Carré's books and his most famous character, George Smiley. So I suppose the briefest of brief book reviews is that Nick Harkaway has done a very good job. If you didn't know better, you'd think this was a Le Carré original. He's done a very good job. And clearly, he grew up with his father. He knew the stories of George Smiley, the famous books, Spy Who Came In From the Cold, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and clearly knew the story of Smiley. And he's done an excellent job in producing another George Smiley, a spy master story. Never mind the Waffle Cliff. What's it all about? Well, it kicks off with a lady called Susanna Gero. She's a Hungarian emigre. She works for a literary agent, and his name, he says briefly checking his notes, is Mr. Benati. They have a fairly set routine. They get book drafts sent into them. He goes through them. Anything that's worthwhile, she follows it up. And one morning, Mr. Benati isn't there. Even stranger, a mysterious stranger turns up, and it turns out that this guy is a Russian agent, and he's there with a mission to kill Mr. Benati. Susanna doesn't quite know what to do, but she's got some contacts in an agency that she knows has contacts with the Circus, the British spy establishment, MI6, if you will. So the guy that's sent to kill her boss has decided he wants to turn himself in. He wants to give himself up to the British, and arrangements are made with the Circus. The book is set in 1963. It's actually set in the spring of 1963. So we're full Cold War. 1963 was the year that Kim Philby, one of the Cambridge Five, and the Cambridge Five were Burgess, MacLean, Philby, Blunt and Cairncross. 63 was the year when it all went a bit pear-shaped and Kilby legged it from Lebanon on a Russian freighter to Moscow. So, it tells the story of the Circus, the British spy establishment, in a bit of disarray. And as the book starts, George Smiley, their chief spy master, has actually left the Circus. He's retired. He's looking forward to travels with his wife Anne, but they've got other ideas. Control, the person running the Circus, said, look, this girl Susanna, whose boss has gone missing, and this Russian agent who wants to turn himself in, we need somebody who knows what they're doing here. Get hold of Smiley, get him to come back and interview Susanna. Find out what the story is, find out what's going on with her boss, Benati, and find out a little bit, if you can, about this guy that's been sent to kill him. And so Smiley, somewhat, the rumour around the Circus was that, believe it or not, Smiley had sort of settled into a fairly happy life with his wife Anne. And he somewhat begrudgingly goes back, but he realises there's a job to do, and if that's your gig, I guess. There's a quote that says, and I'll make sure I read it properly, the salamander lives in the fire because it's forgotten how to live any other way. And, that's a parallel with Smiley. He's a spy master, he's a spook. He's always going to be a spook. There is some talk about him seeking a career in banking, but at just the moment in time, his country needs him, so he has to go back. And his simple task is to interview Susanna and try to get to the bottom of this slightly mysterious situation. I don't think it's giving too much of the plot away to say that Mr. Benati, Susanna's boss, isn't Mr. Benati. and all of a sudden a wider tale unfolds, and the influence of Moscow is looming. And thus we find Smiley having an adventure, if you will, with Susanna. They're crossing various places in Europe. They're going to East Berlin, they're going to Austria, they're going to Portugal. And all of a sudden, this has gone from a small, let's just interview this girl, to a major exercise. And there's the hand of somebody who Smiley is going to come across in later years, who's going to be one of his biggest enemies. So it's an intriguing spy drama. It's very true to the original Smiley type stories, and Nick Harkaway has done a really good job reimagining George Smiley and his adventures in this book. You could, if you were being picky, say that at times he's almost tried too hard, and there are times when this book seems a bit wordy, if you will. And certainly if you were looking for an all-action drama, this probably isn't the book for you. You know, we see Smiley working out things. He's saying a lot of this job is just working out, if this happens, what will happen here, there and there. So we see a lot of Smiley putting his thoughts together and thinking out how to solve these problems. As the book progresses, and it's fair to say it is a little bit slow to start off with, there's more action, and we even see Smiley in a car chase, driving a car. So I'd give this book 7 out of 10. As I said, if you're looking for a modern all-action drama, probably not for you, but it is certainly well written. You think this was an original Le Carré. It's very well constructed. Not a lot not to like, really. My only criticism would be a little bit slow to start off with, and at times a bit too wordy, but that's just being picky. I enjoyed it. Good read. 298 pages of stories, so it's a relatively straightforward read. You can read it in a couple of sessions, as I did. That's it for this week's brief book review. 10/10 till we do it again. Thanks for watching.